Awesome. All right. Welcome. And today I am joined here with a couple of my team members and then also my lovely wife, Ariella. And we are going to embark on the journey of step two in from inspiration to blueprint. How to dream when you're dreaming about the kitchen model. What are the things that go into it? And what are some of the more details of, we're going to go out through some projects that we've done. We're going to look at layouts that we have done. But before we get started, let's share a little bit about us, guys. So I'm gonna share my screens if it works here. All right. Oh, present. So a little bit about us is that our team is made up of primary four people. So my wife and I run XtraMile Construction for the last 6 years. Actually, today, 6 years ago, I took over. My project manager, Will, he is me. So us three here are the ones that primarily run the business. My dad is kind of like a Jedi. He is involved in the business, but on a different side of it. And we've been running this business for 6 years together. We've had just a lot of great experiences, a lot of learning lessons as well. And a little bit more about me. So I started in construction with my dad. I'm second generation. And we've been able to, a lot of the things that we focus on is remodels right now. And a little bit about my wife and I is we got married 11 years ago next month. We enjoy traveling. And when we got started, she was a preschool teacher. I was working as a subcontractor for other people, and I really didn't like the trades. But what I did like is I liked traveling to Guatemala during the winters. And so we used to go travel for almost 7 years down to Guatemala in the winter, and we would eventually we started working with kids in high-risk situations with a couple different organizations. And I realized soon that we would need more money to do what we wanted to do. So now what we do is that we serve people up here. We go down and we remodel homes in Minnesota so that we can do remodel children's homes in Guatemala as a part of what we do and help relieve anxiety and things like that of some of our customers' lives. And sometimes we just add on to it until the end of the project, to be honest. But yeah, and we once again we love to travel. We just came back this year. We were able to go to Europe for a little bit. And real quick about us is this is my family. So I got my nieces and nephews on the right. I was teaching them the other day like how to use a saw. Jalen is 11 years old and he was not certified, but he is now. And then we were trading, doing some things for our chicken coop. So we have two dogs and a couple goats. They're too small to eat, so they're going to be staying with us for the next 18 years or however long they are. And this is our midnight, we're called the Midnight Gardeners. Not me, Ariella. Ariella, anything you want to share?
Yeah, I think you covered it really well. It's important to us. Our team at XtraMile is super important. Obviously, our clients are, but our core things are family, having a solid relationship, travel, and then giving back. So I definitely think you covered it all there.
Yeah, and it's been cool because we've been able to partner with so many different homeowners, different things that we dreamed of that we were going to be doing, we're getting to do, and a lot of it's just because we've been able to help connect good people to good people, and not every project goes perfect, but we're here, right? And I'm not going anywhere. So this is we're going to kind of recap what we talked about the first time through. So we were doing a couple case studies last time, and we were going through just different projects, and we had some question and answer sheets from previous customers and previous clients, and we're trying to bridge the gap of what we were calling is staying at home long term, right? So when we're looking at renovation, we've had customers that have been in their house from 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And so we're looking at when you're going to be in the house long term, what is the feel that you want your family to have, right? When you come into the home and you have either grandkids or you want a space just for the kids as they get older, what are some things that can really bring those things together? Sometimes it's an addition, sometimes it's rebuilding a basement, sometimes it's remodeling just a first floor. And so we had a questionnaire sheet that we dished out, and it looked a little bit like this, right? So we had staying at home long term when we're looking at the renovation of the project, right? We're not always just looking for the monetary investment, but we're looking for the relationship investment within what we're doing. And so we have this questionnaire. You can reach out to us, and we will send this over to you. We're gonna keep going on our but it's like on our workshop. So reach out to us for the Zoom link if you're interested in learning more about part two. And we're going to be talking about layouts, and we're going to be talking about different trade partners that we partner with, and we're going to be talking more about just the structure of how we work with our customers. So for example, I'll do this one last thing, is that when we're coming into a customer's home, right, we we have the first pillars. So for example, a pillar would be cabinets, electrical. You're looking at appliances, and you have the goals next to it. And then once we kind of have the first step, so this is kind of the way that our process works, is that we're trying to put together the pieces of the puzzle as we have a questionnaire, right? So we have a design question. So once we have the pillars of the that kind of give us the outline of the budget, we go through a questionnaire that brings us to what are the really important details of style and of what are you trying to tie into your existing home, marry two things together, or are you just going to bring a whole new brand new look? And a big part I think people need to slow down on is like the pros and cons, right? So you know you don't like something already, but then it's like in 3 to 5 years, are you going to be redoing it? Are you going to be doing the remodel once? And we have someone raising a hand. Yes, sorry.
What I wanted to add to the importance of having that checklist, the pros and cons, the interview questions, and the point of slowing down is because there's more than one way to do something. There's that if a client wants a modern sort of style kitchen and they have a certain budget, there's more than one way that we can help bring that to life. So really slowing down, understanding, learning how they want to use their kitchen, their space, their living room, their addition, that really helps us budget and see what kind of materials can we incorporate and to give them the most within that budget.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think too, right? My dad says it really well. Is taking the puzzle pieces, right, and shifting it down and starting to funnel down the puzzle pieces that you want and you don't want. Because really, a lot of times what we're dealing with is we're dealing with an existing space that has existing plumbing and electrical, and we're doing our best to rework it as best as possible. But in order to do that, you can really do anything. But if you don't have the designer idea of what is possible, I think sometimes what can happen is that you just get so overwhelmed and you're flipping through Pinterest forever, and you're just you go into some large I think just a large spiral of like, oh, I should have did this before. Oh man, I wish I would have thought of this later. So that's one of the things that we do. And let's go a little deeper here. All right. So before we jump off this live, it would be where to start on the beginning, right? This is the recap. So one is the importance of planning, going through the goals, going through the overall. We're not looking just at like the materials. We're looking at the feel. We're looking at the intangible things that you want to create. The next part after that is defining the vision, right? So after when you have the planning, you're kind of like you're looking at the end goal. You're looking now at the vision. You're starting to think about textures, and now you're starting to get some of those materials involved. And after that, obviously, now that you have those two things together, you're able to create a budget outline. And then the timeline starts to step in with the lead times, and then you're starting to talk about more of the scheduling, and you're starting to get other trade partners or contractors into your space. And so what we're going to talk about today is sources of inspiration, design trends, working with the experts. One of the parts with this is like, how do we stay organized? Are we going to create a separate email just for the project? Are we going to do a Google Drive? Creating a blueprint that works and that you can, I think a lot of people get estimates that are 60,000 and 150,000. There's this big gap because they're not actually, they believe they're giving the same information, but how the contractor or the person interprets it is different. So having those things written down, having your key things that you don't want somebody to miss written down for them, and then you're giving the same person similar detail over and over as you're open to ideas. And then, of course, how to finalize your blueprint and prepare for the build phase. So it was good to be on the Facebook Live here and whatnot, but I'm going to go off to our backside of it and we're going to go through the class. And so if you guys have any questions, whatnot, reach out. Obviously, Ariella is the expert. She has done over 100 kitchens underneath her belt and other countless remodels. Appreciate you, and talk to you soon.
Appreciate you too, Justin. Being awesome.
Yeah. Are we still on live?
It's still on Facebook. We are learning.
You talked about before.
Yes. Okay. So, we took cabinet to the ceiling. We added a little bit of glass. We added a beautiful hard surface countertop, and all of this we were able to do and work out the details within our client's budget. So again, slow down, listen to your client, put together beautiful mood boards. They're amazing tools. Lately, I've been obsessed with Canva. Put together a sweet mood board with some textures and inspirations, or ask your client if they can send you images or photos of things they already have in their house that they love. And from that, you can go ahead and start finding inspirations, and that will definitely help you in your journey to that beautiful after.
Yeah, and I think this is part two, right? So we went through kind of when you're dissecting things. What are because I think that's where some people get stuck, right? It's like they're like, I know what I need done, I just don't know how to get there. But it's like we're at part two of this, so it's we've already talked about what fixtures we're taught. We talked about the style and color. So I think it's important to remember that like it's just bite sizes. Like you're not screenshotting everything that you've seen on Pinterest.
Yeah.
You're slowing down and you're actually not if you take a screenshot, you're circling what you like, and then you're creating an organized portfolio. And I think this is what a lot of people, when I was just meeting with a couple yesterday, that this is a big part of what we're talking about is like, I know what I would like. I know what I don't like. I just don't know how to explain what I like. If you show me pictures, I'll kind of piece it out.
Okay, and then again, from the design perspective, like bringing all the beautiful things together that create that feeling that your clients are after, it's super important. But just as important, if not more important, is all the technical little things, the measurements, the dimensions, and that's where our job as designers and builders is to be in super great communication with our cabinet builders. You can work directly with a cabinet builder that can do renderings for you. You could hire out a designer that specializes in CAD renderings. In our team, I don't specialize in it. I dabbled and I'm really bad at it. I need many more hours to get better at it. Justin's getting better at it. But for the most part, we'll work directly with our cabinet builders. We'll show them this is our layout idea. This is what we want it to look like. This is my budget. Help me design within this budget. And then this is what I want it to look like when it's done. That's one way that we do it. Another way that we do it, depending on the extent of the project, is we will bring in a designer that has a background in 3D, 4K renderings. For example, Melissa Matthews, we highly recommend her. She's amazing. We'll bring her in. And then the benefit of bringing her in is she also has that incredible design eye, so she can give us input or suggest, what if you did this to this cabinet? What if you did this instead? What if you had it open this way or change this bank to a drawer bank? And little details like that that really give you that big
And I think that's important because a lot of times what will happen is that this is what what we're talking about right now. Oh, is that the one that falls?
Yeah.
One of the things is like what we're looking to do, right, is keep mitigating the risk of when a designer comes in. So like when I have a budget and then she's involved, typically the budget can stick together. But if I'm not involved and she's just designing, I meet the customer, I'm like, we are restarting this whole process because your budget isn't meeting the expectation of what you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so that's one thing I was going to say is like, I think Melissa does a great job at taking advice from other contract. Like she has so much knowledge because she's in it. I think some designers, they're in their own world and they don't like they have their own style that they always stick to. And I think it's important that you have that contractor mix, because the guys that are installing and looking at the finer details of the how much it really costs to do these things. But
that's one thing that's probably a strength in our team, is that you have a great.
You just come to one place.
Yeah, you can come to one place. We can do the design and we can do the build. I've spent so many hours at showrooms learning my different material selections, building relationships with my trade partners, with my vendors, that really help. And Justin works closely with our guys to make sure that the numbers that we give are like he's confident in those numbers when we present them to our client. And for the most part, we've been super blessed that we've stayed on budgets. But here's another kitchen that we're super proud of. This one is just starting to be built. We've designed it a few months ago.
The house is like 100-something years old. Super great humans. So
we're it's a smaller footprint, and it's gonna have a really gorgeous big impact. It's gonna have some terracotta. It's gonna have some fabrics. It's gonna have some quartz, some brass, painted cabinets, wood cabinets, but it's all going to feel beautiful and cohesive, like the story and the feeling we want our clients to have. And we worked on every little detail, because sometimes when you're working in a smaller footprint, it takes a lot more time and detail. You have to be really
especially if your house is old. Like this one was really there was a lot of uniqueness, because like we literally just have. We can't move anything. We're doing our best to create maximizing the space with the rollouts and stuff.
There's more risk if a house is older when you're remodeling it. So a lot of upfront homework, having our guys run through, look at the floor plans, get our bids updated multiple times through our design phase. Those things had to happen before we had a final signed contract with everything. Here's another kitchen that's got more of a modern sort of minimalist sort of vibe. And this one was a lot of fun. Again, we had a very unique floor footprint to work with, and the designer that we had working in-house she spent many hours on this, trying to get the right layout. We worked really closely together.
And we're trying to shoot for an island at first.
Yeah, we wanted to figure out how to get an island to fit in here, and try as we might, we couldn't figure it out. So then we ended up doing little things like, okay, well, we know our client wants a little more of that modern feel. We tried to have a hood just on its own, but then we lost all the storage. So then I was like, okay, what if we connect the upper cabinets, use a little bit of a shelf for storage, and you gain that upper space for storage. Still looks amazing. It does the job of venting out for when you're cooking, and just simplified the selections. There aren't as many selections in a project like this one, but still we think it had a beautiful impact. And cool. She was really happy, which made us happy.
Yeah.
So, and she's the coolest style ever.
She has a very cool style.
Yeah.
All right.
So you want to go?
Yeah. So when we're going through, remember, there's kind of a role. I'm gonna recap really quick. So first and foremost, right, when you're getting your stuff together, you want to be making sure that you're giving the same information to each person. So from designer to contractor, trade partner, you want to make sure that it's written in, just on paper, that it's just, there's less interpretations. It's more facts, right? And this is something that we're still working on, because all of us have different languages that we're using. And so what I mean by this is, like, when you're going to the designer or the contractor first, it depends on the job on who to go to, but you want to go there with the things that we previously worked on, your checklist. You want to get the layout, the before photos, and you're going to them ready to help educate them on where you're at in the process. Communicating where you're at first is more important than them telling you what the next steps are, because they need to understand, so that they're not drifting their own opinion upon yours, which is something that we are famous for in our trade. The next thing is communicating the vision, right? We talked about this one more time. So the textures, naming and labeling what it is that you're looking for is really important. And then choosing a layout. Some of this stuff will come naturally. It depends on the home, the type of home. And so what we do is we go from layout to materials to the design elements. And when you're going through this, obviously every project is unique, and then you're working within your budget and all this stuff. So it's like making sure that you're starting to take the expectation that you have and matching it with what the person that you're partnering with can provide.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important. Yeah. So one more thing I think is important is we're going to skip through this. So something that I've been pushing on our team, obviously, but it's like a lot of people that are interested in having us work for them, I asked them to have something like this, where it's basically, and it's not just for us, it's like if they work with us or not, like we're just trying to help, because I think you already have so many things in your life that you're juggling. You have kids, you got work, you got a car, you got a dog, like you have all these things you have goats, chickens, 4 fish, and it's like you're juggling these things. So what you want to do is lower the anxiety, right? And you're lowering the options, and you're creating an easy way. So like sometimes we have customers that I'll ask them like, hey, it may be time for you to create a separate email just so that you can have these things. And then we have our own on our side. We have all this in one project management thing. We don't have to create any of this. It's already been created.
Yeah.
This is mainly for somebody that's looking at a large renovation that doesn't know where to start.
Yeah.
So you can take a screenshot of this, and we're gonna go through this a little bit more in depth next time, and then so yeah, we have a couple people here on Zoom, on our Zoom part as we're going live. But if you got some questions, let us know. We're gonna stop our live right now so we can answer some of our customers' questions. And remember, we're here to serve you. Thank you so much for joining on whatever live thing, watching us fumble about, and just go for it. So appreciate you all. And
we're super happy to send you over some of the documents that Justin and our team have created. So go on our website, www.XtraMile.com, and send us a message and let us know what you're interested in, and we'll figure out how to get that over to you.
Absolutely. All right. Talk to you soon.
One of us
we should do like a
stop the
sign
live.
off. Yeah, someone's got to stop the live. I don't know how to do it.
Miss Louie, are you